I'd like to share an amazing story about how the greatest music was almost silenced. Maria often said that life was a chain of sorrows. Tragedy had left her an 18-year-old widow with a small child. Then her little boy died. Well, she got a second chance at love, but when her young musician took her home to meet his prominent family, they looked down their noses at this girl from the serving class. His father would ever after refer to her as the chambermaid. His family despised her as an inferior interloper. It's no wonder that Maria's second marriage soon soured. The couple's first child died 6 days after birth. The chambermaid would bury 5 of her 8 children. But her biggest sorrow was that her husband spent more time in taverns than practicing his music. If he wasn't in a drunken stupor, he was bedding down other women. When she complained, the beatings began. One night he almost beat her to death, and then he raped her. When Maria discovered that she was pregnant, she was determined not to bring this unwanted child into the world. She found her way to a back alley woman who traded in concoctions that induced miscarriage. 3 drops of that deadly liquid would kill her baby, but she accidentally knocked the cup off the table. At first she was hysterical, and then she resigned herself to the fact that God must have a purpose for her unwanted child. He turned out to be a strange boy, but he did have his family's love for music. When a local teacher took him on as a piano student, no one thought that she was gaining a prodigy. Maria was 40 years old when Mozart said that her son was destined for greatness. 2 months later, the teenage prodigy rushed home to be at her deathbed. She told her son that giving birth to him was the one good thing in her unhappy life. We should all be grateful that Maria van Beethoven did not abort little Ludwig, the child of rape, who would grow up to write the world's greatest symphonies. Maybe you too were unwanted, but God conceived you as his masterpiece. Perhaps you're facing a tough choice like Maria. Hopefully, her story might give you the courage to trust God. He knows who belongs in your life and who doesn't. This is another amazing story from history. History, his story, God's story. And his story is really your story too. So go out and write another chapter in your story, remembering what Maria discovered. Trust God. He knows who belongs in your life and who doesn't.
If you'd like to learn more about ordinary people with extraordinary achievements, small people who defeat the mighty, unlikely people God uses for his purposes, go to robertapeterson.org. You'll be inspired and amazed.